I still remember the day they told me my dream was a joke. I was sitting at the dinner table, my palms sweaty, my heart pounding in my chest, while my family looked at me with a mixture of disdain and disbelief. My dream? To transform the way people experienced art by creating immersive virtual worlds as a game developer. Simple? No. Ridiculous? To them? Absolutely. My father shook his head, eyes cold. My mother's voice dripped with contempt as she said, "You're wasting your life chasing nothing but fantasy. You're an embarrassment." From that moment, I became the family's punchline. Everything I did was mockery fuel. Every late-night coding session met with sneers. Every small success dismissed as luck. They told me I'd never make it, that I'd never be anything more than a dreamer clinging to illusions. But deep inside, I knew what I was fighting for. I refused to be crushed by their doubts. I refused to surrender my vision to the storm of their scorn. So I left. I packed my modest belongings and moved to a city that had once felt like a distant dream, a place where nobody knew my name, where I could drown out the voices that said I was foolish. The road was brutal. Sleepless nights, financial struggles, endless rejection letters. There was a moment when I questioned everything, when the loneliness and exhaustion threatened to drown me. But I clung to that flicker of belief, that whisper of purpose that refused to die. Years passed. I poured myself into my craft. I learned everything I could. How to craft stories that touched hearts. How to build worlds that transported players beyond their reality. My work was raw, imperfect at first, but gradually it gained recognition. Awards, industry acclaim, millions of players who praised my creations. Hard-earned success, born from sweat and tears, from perseverance and resilience. And then, one day, I returned home, not as the outsider I had been, but as someone who had transformed his dreams into reality. I was a recognized pioneer in my field, a creator whose gains had touched the lives of countless people. I thought about my family, their faces, their words, and I knew this moment was about more than just me. It was about unveiling the truth, about showing them what their doubts had merely cost. I decided to return unannounced, to see their faces when they realized the truth of what I had become. The house looked the same, faded paint, overgrown lawn, the familiar clutter of a life long embedded in small-town familiarity. The doors swung open, and I stepped inside, feeling a strange mix of nostalgia and anticipation. They were there, sitting in the living room, their eyes widening as they saw me. My success, my confidence, my transformation, all undeniable now. I could see the shock, the disbelief flickering across their faces. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of every mocking word and every dismissive gesture they'd ever thrown my way. "Mom, Dad," I said, voice steady but filled with emotion. "Remember when you told me my dreams were worthless? That I was an embarrassment? Well, I've spent years proving that I'm more than what you thought of me. I built worlds. I inspired others. And I proved that persistence can turn even the most impossible dreams into reality." Their faces, initially frozen in disbelief, softened ever so slightly. My father looked down, perhaps unable to bear the truth of his own doubts. But I kept speaking. "You see, I didn't become successful despite your words. I became successful because I refused to listen to them, because I believed in myself when no one else did. In that moment, I saw the shame flicker in their eyes, perhaps a glimmer of something else, perhaps regret. I didn't come to shame or condemn, but to show that dreams, no matter how ridiculed, are worth fighting for. As I left that day, I looked back at the house. It was no longer just a building. It was a symbol of everything I'd overcome. My journey wasn't just about success in the eyes of others. It was about discovering my own worth and refusing to let anyone define me. I had faced rejection, doubt, and even outright hatred, but I had emerged stronger, more compassionate, and more enlightened. The greatest lesson I carry is this: no matter how harsh the world may seem, perseverance and faith in oneself are the truest forms of victory. Karma is not just a cosmic force. It's the silent, relentless judge within us, guiding us through darkness toward our own light. My family's words once meant everything, until I realized they were just shadows cast by their own fears. I chose to walk into my own sun. Today, I stand proud knowing I turned the pain of rejection into the power of purpose. My success isn't just a trophy. It's a testament that dreams are worth fighting for. And I am living proof that no matter what anyone says, the only approval that truly matters is your own.